Hello and welcome back to Honda Boy Floyd. I'm B. B is in Bravo. B is in C. BR. B is in Bell. Biv. But not DeVoe. Anyway, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about Giggles, aka the Giggling Postie, aka my Franken Trail 90, aka the CT 104. This bike I bought about 5 years ago. It was quite old but had low miles on it at the time. It's only got 3,100 miles on it now, and I've put about 600 of those miles on it. Shortly after I bought it, unfortunately, the oil ran dry and it seized. So that left me a few options. I could go the live fan route and get a big 125 or 140 motor and shoehorn that in. Shoehorn, it fits right in. Or I could go that route, but I didn't want to lose the low range transmission. Or I could look for a complete replacement engine, trans, all of it to drop in. Or the route that I went was to buy the Dr. ATV, aka Beecher Cycle big bore kit. So this took it from a 90cc bike to 104 cc's. During the rebuild, I also changed the carburetor to a bigger Chinese manufactured carburetor, and I also replaced the cam with the higher performance cam that they have that provides more duration but about the same amount of lift, so it gives a little bit more grunt to it. Unfortunately, the amount of time that passed between when I seized the motor and when I actually got around to rebuilding it was long enough that I don't really have a very vivid memory of the performance characteristics of this bike before. I also didn't get to put very many miles on it before it seized, so I don't have a real clear baseline to judge it against a stock bike anymore. I would love to put it up against a stock bike and see how they go head to head. I know another guy here in town actually that has one. There's also a guy who's got a new CT 125 that I want to anyway, that I want to go see about riding with. But the performance of this bike is pretty decent. They, from what I read and remember slightly about how it performed beforehand, it does have a little bit more grunt and a little bit more top speed. This one, I can get it to 55, and I did that on flat ground on a cooler morning, cooler, denser air. It did 55. It'll do 50 pretty decently, but it takes a while to get there. It's still, if you want to cruise it on 55-mile-an-hour roads, you definitely have to hug that white line and know that some hills will require you to still downshift. Otherwise, it's a pretty cool little kit. It went together fairly well. I had to have a machine shop borne home the cylinder. Obviously, it was scored worse than anything I've ever seen. But otherwise, all basically went together. The only real issue that I had was the copper gasket, copper head gasket. For some reason, the part that they told me to order, the inside diameter wasn't right, and the stock one obviously was too small. So I used the stock one, you know, a new part that I ordered, but the stock part number, and I used my Dremel to open up the inside diameter of it, put it in, torqued it down, and it seems to be working just fine. I have about 400 miles on the motor, and she does pretty good. It's a lot of fun to ride. So if you're thinking about getting this kit, I would totally recommend it. I don't know if they sell it as a full kit, but they offer, they tell you every part that you need to get in order to put it together. I honestly would have preferred to have kept this bike stock. I had no desire to add any performance to it or do anything crazy. It really was more than enough of what I wanted or needed it for beforehand, but given the situation I was in, it was just the right decision for me. So if you're thinking about it, I'd say do it, and it gives a little bit more. But I would also say if you are running a stock motor, stock bike that has no issues, leave it alone. Once you open it up, it's been opened up, you know? Just leave it alone. And then once you blow it up, rebuild it. Put it in a big fork kit. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed my riding style. And come back to the next one.
And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. High-speed test run. Let's see what we can get this thing to do from a rolling start to as fast as we can get it up to in, let's see, 0.37 miles. Let's go!
Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to accelerate from rolling. Go.
Quit laughing at me, Giggles.